Okay, we're going to be talking about Oceanside Tactical and also Snopes. What's up, Wolverines? Welcome back to the channel. Today is Groundhog's Day. Well, not really, it's St. Patrick's Day, but it feels like Groundhog's Day because we have information on Snopes and Oceanside Tactical, two cases that are up for a writ of certiorari with the Supreme Court. We're going to get into that. But first, if you want to help the channel out, you can. I have links in the description where you can actually help monetarily. If you can't help monetarily, I'll take a like, a comment, or a subscription. It would all work out great. My contract at work just got cut, so anything that you can do will be a great help. Trust me. You can also visit my locals at johncrump.locals.com and use code Wolverines and get 1 free month, which is a great deal. We have patches coming out, so everyone who subscribes at a $5 level to any of the methods of subscription will get a free patch. You'll see those in the coming weeks. Alright, now let's get into Groundhog's Day. When I say Groundhog's Day, it is because we've been here before. There's two cases up at the Supreme Court level. Actually, there's more, but there's two that we are going to concentrate on today, and that is Snopes, which challenges the Maryland assault weapons ban, and Oceanside Tactical, which challenges Rhode Island's magazine capacity ban. And both of these cases have been up to the Supreme Court for months, waiting to see if they are going to get a writ of certiorari. And so far, they have not. A writ of certiorari is a granting of a petition to the Supreme Court to hear the case. So basically, you file for a writ, and the Supreme Court decides whether they're going to grant the writ of certiorari, or writ of cert, as sometimes people call it, or they deny cert. In this case, they have done neither. They keep on rescheduling it for conference. Every time they reschedule for conference, they discuss it and decide if they're going to take it or not. And every single time, it's been rescheduled. What does that mean? That doesn't mean something necessarily bad, but it doesn't mean something necessarily good. What it does mean is that there is interest in taking the case at the Supreme Court. If there was no interest in taking either one of the cases at the Supreme Court, then they would have denied cert months ago. But they haven't. So at least a few people at the SCOTUS level feel really strongly about granting this case, or these cases. I know Thomas wants to grant the case, and I know Alito probably wants to grant the case, but there has to be a couple more that are at least considering it. There's probably one that is definitely on board, and a couple more that are considering granting cert in these cases. Overall, I think a assault weapons ban case will be granted cert in the near future, whether it's Snopes or whether it's Illinois, who knows. But one of these cases are going to be granted cert in the near future, and that will change everything. It just depends on what case the Supreme Court wants to take. If they want to take Snopes, they will take Snopes and answer that question. If they want to take Oceanside Tactical about the magazine restrictions, they will take that question too. Or they could be waiting for a case that challenges both the magazine restrictions and the assault weapons restrictions. We'll have to wait and see exactly what the Supreme Court does. They could want to separate out the issues and rule on each one separately, or they could want to rule on it all together. And that is the big key, what they want to do. I believe both of these issues are going to be taken up sooner than later. It's just how soon they are taken up. And I know it's really, really frustrating because they keep on rescheduling for conference these cases, but it's better than denying cert. If they denied cert, that means it's over. I mean, these cases are dead. There's nothing that can be done. But since they haven't done that, there is definite interest in the cases. So when people are all gloom and doom that it hasn't been granted cert yet, you have to remember that it's better to be rescheduled for conference them to be denied cert, because being rescheduled for conference means there is hope that the case will be taken up. I have a sneaking suspicion that one or both of these cases will be taken up by SCOTUS. Which one it is, I don't know. Or if it's both, I don't know. I could be totally wrong. There's an old saying that says, if anybody tells you they know what the court is going to do, then they don't know anything about the court system. And I'm going to stick with that. I cannot say for sure that they're going to grant cert to either one of these cases. I just have a strong feeling that they will. And I think they might grant cert to both cases, which would be good for gun rights across the country. So when you read the doom and gloom about cert not being granted in either one of these cases and it being referred to conference again, do not lose hope. That just means it is delayed. It does not mean something bad for the Second Amendment. So keep that in mind from when you hear from different people who say different things. It's going to be at least a year before we know anything on either one of these cases, even if cert is granted. So it's not going to be cert's granted today, and next week they're going to have a hearing, and the next week they're going to come out with a decision. That's not how it works. When cert is granted, it goes on the scheduling queue, and it gets scheduled for oral arguments. There's a bunch of briefs that are filed in the meantime with SCOTUS from the defendants and the plaintiffs, and they both have a chance to plead their case in these filings. And then they get up there for oral arguments where they give opening statements. And then the justices have an opportunity to ask them questions. And from those questions, we can defer a lot. For example, in the Mexico versus Smith & Wesson, we can defer that is probably going to be a loss for Mexico, either by an 8-1 or 9-0 decision. Right now, after listening to the oral arguments in that case multiple times, I have the sneaking suspicion that Mexico is going to lose 9-0, and that case is going to be dismissed. But like I said, it is the court system and anything can happen. We will just have to wait and see. But I saw a lot of doom and gloom on the internet about SCOTUS not granting cert and rescheduling the conference for these cases. So I wanted to make a quick video to explain the way the courts work. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and it's not necessarily a good thing. It's just a thing. So we'll have to wait and see what SCOTUS does with these cases, but I do have a good feeling that at least one of them will be granted cert, if not both.